The absolute best thing is when you find a game, probably in this case a new game, and it turns out to be a slam dunk. Not just decent, not just above average, and not even just good, but the game turns out to be great. You feel like every time you pick up your controller, you are in for something special. This title manages to deliver. Say we even see some trailers and gameplay prior to its release, and you're like, okay, it looks good, but who knows if it'll actually be able to deliver, especially in the current climate of disappointing AAA games, poorly used legacy sequels, and so on. So when I got my hands on Space Marine 2, I just had an absolute great time with it. You want fun? That is exactly what this game is. Not pretentious storytelling trying to be virtuous and appear smart. Not a game where agenda takes priority over entertaining the player. But rather you have an experience where you have that entertainment you've been very much craving within this environment. So finding and playing something like this is just awesome. It's also even better when that great game not only manages to deliver, but it's also able to have more success outside of that player reception. And what I mean by that is it's even better when the game can sell really well too. Before we go any further, I want to thank 2Game for providing me with a code for Space Marine 2. If you're interested in Space Marine 2 or other PC games, please check out the coupon code and link in the pinned comment and description. All of this stuff goes to help out the channel. Now, back to the video. I have spoken about this before, but it's very telling based on what a developer and publisher will share about a game, and its reception or even its sales. You would think if there's good news to share, then you will see articles and posts about that on their social media accounts and then praising the game. The game sold so many copies within its first day, if the number is impressive. The marketing people know that putting this out there is really good free PR to be able to prop up their game further. It can even be a good way to entice players who were hesitant to join at the initial release. And again, this is all really good stuff. So in the case of Space Marine 2, they have sold over 5 million copies. This is a really huge number, and if the developer finds it good to boast about it, then it's very telling that this game is probably doing financially well. I don't know anything about the budget for this title, but Focus Home was the publisher, and they tend to be more on the AA side of things, so I think we can infer that with the openness to talk about the high copies sold, that means that they are probably seeing a really good future for this game and franchise. This could even lead to more additional content down the road, and even seeing a Space Marine 3. The sales show that the audience for something like this was rather big, and they showed up. I think Space Marine 2 is one of those games of that year, having the combo of being both a great game and selling very well. It shows that the market has very much been craving for something like this. Maybe the time of quality linear games, an extensive package of content for single player, multiplayer options along with co-op, having that all packaged in is probably a great thing too. In many ways, this feels like a game from 2 generations ago, and I do think that Focus Home Entertainment is another reason for the success of gamers wanting to have that fun and have that vocal group of people that are sick of properties and new games just being full of agenda and not being able to deliver that fun that they want. High sales here shows that people are willing to buy stuff like this. The developers just need to be able to deliver that quality to the player, and I can very much attest to this as well. The game is very good, but as a long-running and beloved IP, it's treated very well, respects the fans and players, and as such, it's a game that very much deserves to sell well. I think with Space Marine 2, we had the perfect cocktail of all of those things coming together, and I think that is highly playing into the success that we're seeing for it. Players are ready, players are hungry, and these developers deserve the praise for being able to deliver on it. So let's go back to the very title of this video. What does the success of Space Marine 2 mean? A big one being is that it sends a strong message to the industry that a game like this is exactly what many gamers want, that there is still a very strong audience for this type of stuff, that generally gamers do not care who is making the game, what their personal beliefs are, just make something that is actually fun. Do not try to use a game, especially one that is a sequel or established property, as a mean to spout off your personal progressive talking points. Players do not want that agenda crap. They do not want to be lectured on what they should be believing in. What they want is escapism, getting away from all of the craziness of their day-to-day, or even just the nonsense seen on social media. They want something that they can just kick back with, maybe something they can enjoy with their friends and just have fun. Space Marine both succeeds at making the player feel like this incredible powerhouse, mixes enjoyable and brutal melee with shooting as well. The game is also unabashedly masculine too. I have seen this before before, but I haven't seen this in a long time. To get this kind of bro power, I haven't seen this since the awesome Gears of War trilogy. I will continue to sing the praises of this game. It has earned it, and we need to be very loud about how much we enjoyed and appreciated this game. You want more of these games? Show them. And for all of those hack writers that take the keys of established properties or legacy IPs and ignore their fan bases, well, that right there is where you have a situation like Dragon Age the Veilguard. There, it was even cited that the game directors were more concerned about getting new players to come on for their sequel than actually appealing to the fan base that was actually hungry for a new game. So when you have a group of people very hungry for something, and in this case waiting about 10 years for another entry, you better make sure you deliver what they actually want, and it better be good. Or at least show that you tried. Many of us can forgive a rough launch, as long as the game has the heart and elements that are working and making interesting things, and most of all, an engaging experience. We can forgive a lot, like say if the game has a troubled development. So if we can see that there's a lot of effort made to deliver what the player base wants, then we will probably go to bat for that game and a sequel like that. But when you make an asserted effort to outright ignore or disregard fans, then why should those fans even care about what you're doing? Why would we even want to see something like that succeed? You are using a beloved IP as a platform for you to just run your nonsense to the player. We don't want that. I can't even think of a situation where anyone would want that. In a world and a year where we got something like Space Marine 2 that respects the players, the lore, the world, and look at the success that game is seeing. You can see how the people who have worked on that game are very much presenting how much that sold. Whereas looking at the numbers, like say with Dragon Age the Veilguard, those developers are not praising the sales numbers because there really isn't anything to praise about it. It's becoming rarer and rarer to see games of quality like Space Marine 2, but there is a part of me that wonders maybe if we're starting to see if we're turning a corner on a lot of this stuff. Gamers are very much ignoring or saying no to the crap fests that are being fed to us and voting with their wallet, showing which games and companies that they want to support. I think this year we're going to see a lot more of this from the fans, and hopefully a lot less nonsense. It's all catching up with the developers that have decided to do this and ruin a lot of games within the AAA space. I hope that this shift continues to mean that we're going to get more good games. I hate to see once great companies continue to fail. I would prefer that they continue on and try to be able to course correct and create those memorable experiences for us. But if they're not able to cater to their fans, and even worse, disrespect them, then what is the point of still being around? Who are those games for? Whereas Space Marine 2 stands as a giant of 2024, as a shining example on how to do it right. What are your thoughts on all of this? Did you enjoy Space Marine 2? Do you think they should make more games like this that really respect and cater to the fans? Let me know all of this in the comments down below. And if you're interested in Space Marine 2 or other PC games, check out my affiliate links for 2Game and the coupon code. All of this goes to help the channel, and thank you again. If you're interested in supporting the channel, please check out my Patreon page. For just $1 a month, you can help to keep this channel going strong, and this allows me to be able to do more for my awesome audience. Please check out the links in the description and pinned comment for ways to support the channel. And most of all, thank you very much for watching.